She was a pretty girl, a soldier, and only 23. She arrived on my doorstep, and nobody told me she was coming. The first thing I remember was her voice. Oh, and her smile. It was like she'd known me for years. I was shelling peas for my dinner. I couldn't keep our bit of garden going after I lost Stan, but I do a few peas and raspberries. His pride and joy, those peas, and I just let the raspberries look after themselves. Well, a bit of beef, a few sausages or a chop. He always wanted his peas. Bless him. She wouldn't come in. Said she just wanted to keep an eye on me, and was I all right? Well, I think she said the council sent her. Said if there was anything I needed, she could get it for me. Well, I couldn't think of anything at that moment. But when she asked me if I was sure, well, I told her I was fond of licorice all sorts. She smiled, waved, and left. I didn't think any more about it until she came back. The same smile and soft voice and 3 packets of licorice all sorts. This time she came in and we had a nice cup of tea in the garden on my 2 rickety old deck chairs. We sat in the sunshine and she told me a bit about herself. I can't remember how she got into the army, but it seems she and her unit had been sent to help, as there weren't enough drivers left to take stuff to shops and hospitals and other places. And then, well, it seems the council wanted help to bring stuff to people in their homes. Old people like myself, who were too poorly to do things for themselves. She also said something I didn't really understand. If you do what you're supposed to do, you only bring stuff to the doorstep. When I offered a cup of tea, she accepted, because she said she wasn't worried and the corporal was miles away. And anyway, she could help me eat the licorice all sorts. Well, after that, she came to see me every week. And to be honest, it helped a lot with the groceries and bits and pieces she brought with her. Always licorice all sorts. She didn't talk much about herself. Very happy to let me gabble on about the past, the family and all that. I got the idea she hadn't been happy at home. Well, you know us old people. Happy or not happy, we like other people to know what it was like for us growing up. The hard times, the ups and downs. 3 children I had, and apart from my older boy, Jack, I'm the only one left. I can't be proud of Jack, though. Always a naughty boy. He grew up to be a bad lad. I usually keep a bit quiet about all that, but she wanted to hear more. Always in trouble at school, when he was there. And at 15, the police came on the scene and never let him alone after that. It made her laugh when I said he was made of ill rest, and the only time I knew where to find him was when he was in prison, usually miles away and no way to get to see him. When asked if that was the same now, well, I felt it wouldn't do any harm, and I told her. Cardiff prison. She pricked up her ears and said that she came from that part of the world. It all stopped after a couple of weeks, though. Before she left, she brought news she was being moved on to one of those call centres. Again, helping out, talking to people about their troubles. Well, didn't surprise me at all. With that kind of voice and listening without interrupting. She seemed to know who I was and told me Violet was a very pretty name, almost as pretty as her own name. She gave me a big hug before she left, and when I remarked she hadn't given me her name, well, she winked and said, "Just call me Taffy." Well, I thought about Taffy quite a lot. Perhaps I shouldn't have gabbled on so much to a total stranger, even letting on that we couldn't write to one another because Jack was illiterate. Still, Too late now. Well then, after 4 or 5 months, I picked up from the doormat a buff-coloured envelope. Well then it happened. 2 pieces of paper slipped out as I slit it open. One typewritten, and the other on a lined page from an exercise book, neatly folded twice. Oh, now a buff envelope always makes me feel a bit anxious. It took me a little while to find my glasses before I sat on a dining room chair to receive unwelcome news. In a sudden change of mind, I put it aside and unfolded the lined paper packet. In a scrawl of badly formed but legible letters, it read, "Dear Mum, hope you are well. Grace said it will be a nice surprise and I will do it again. Love, Jack." Hardly daring to believe what I'd just read, when I took up the typed letter and read, "Dear Mrs. Fry, I am a prison visitor on the staff of HMP Cardiff. My name is Karen Delaney and I'm enclosing a note from your son, prisoner 73552. At the request of Lieutenant Grace Williams of the Education Corps Unit at Port Talbot. Lieutenant Williams has been attached to HMP Cardiff for the duration of the present emergency. In the course of visits to the prison, she's been helping prisoner Fry on the basic literacy programme. She reports him to be a willing and promising candidate for the next stage of the programme. She asks me to convey her thanks to you and your kindness at this difficult time, and adds, it's an ill wind that blows nobody any good. You won't know how I feel about so much change in such a small space of time. And the only way I could think to celebrate finding my son and keeping him close was to toast my dear Taff with a cup of tea and several licorice all sorts, as long as they last."